So you want to do this on a regular basis, you know, once a year. Walk around. This is called the grey theme. It goes right down into the soil, about 3, maybe 4 feet, and there are a series of beams that go across. And you don't want to get the mulch any higher than it is now. You want 4 to 6 inches clearance, because bricks are porous and they will allow water to migrate through. So here it's getting a bit high. You just rake it back, that's all, and keep that soil away from the actual brickwork. Now these are post-tension cable foundations, very strong. And we just walk around. We're going to look at the foundation. We're going to then look at the walls and the windows. So we've got an excessive amount of runoff from the gutter here. That diverter's not big enough. That's the clipped on piece of metal on the gutter there, and that's why you've got this damp area here, and that gives you spot dampness that will, you know, in certain times, I think you're okay because you're irrigating quite well, but if you weren't irrigating quite well, this would be very wet and expand. Other areas would be dry, so it would jack it up. Okay, so it would distort the foundation, but you're fine. But you might want to actually have a bigger diverter on there. And likewise here, you can see the grass is dead, and you see where it's eroded the soil here. That's because you've got an enormous valley above it, right? And it's just going to bring a heck of a lot of water down there when it rains. It will just come straight over the top, and it'll get on the walls. And we're going to go to a period of time when it's going to rain and rain and rain, because it does.
Right.
You know, we'll be out of the drought cycle one day.
Someday.
Yeah, someday. And when that happens, that could actually lead to problems in the house. At the moment, it's not so bad. Okay. So that needs. Continuing round, you see the post-tension cable ends and the nails are there. Again, need a diverter.
Need a bigger one here too?
Yes, yeah, because this is what's happening because of the amount of water coming over it. One of the important things, and this really becomes your responsibility after this month, is caulking. And there, the caulking is just not good enough. That could leak. So we want that to be re-caulked. Hole in the caulking here, can you see it? I know it's nitpicky, but you wouldn't believe how much water can get through a small hole like that. And they could send a man round and caulk it. Here, down in the corner here, the caulking's not complete, so that's going to allow water to get in. And do you have wood floors the other side? Yeah, well, there's a very good reason not to have water in. Look, you can see here. So I'm going to put in the report, I'm going to say I'd like to see all windows re-caulked, because time they've got around, and you see up at the top here, how it's all cracking around there. I wouldn't want to see that all caulked. I've seen this window, the other windows, apart from the ones under the porch. We'll look at those, but they normally survive better because they're not in direct sunlight.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, but you see up there, you missed it. Up the top there, missed it. And now, although water won't go in there, hot air will go in there in summer, and that will increase your heating and cooling. But also the hot air, if it's laden with moisture, as it often is, okay, guess what? When it hits that barrier, the vapor barrier, one side's cold because it's conditioned,
Right.
while the other side's hot,
Condensation.
condenses. Yeah. So we just. Yeah, the corking down here. In this corner here. Yeah. Okay.
One of my concerns with making the concrete work,
All right.
maybe you can tell me, if I go around, and you'll see it more, I'll show you on the front,
Yeah.
but the edges in a lot of places, appear to be just like
Yeah.
scaling off, and it's in some places pretty big chunks.
Yeah, you can. That would come in the category of cosmetic. This is not part of your foundation.
This is not.
No.
The driveway.
The driveway, but it's important. But I'm going to give you a bit more information. So this is not part of the foundation, and so it's slab on grade. It's got reinforcement bar in it, rebar, and it's mixed and poured to a different standard than the foundation. As such, it can get things like that, and they can be quite ugly. Look at yeah, but it's a good observation to make. Now just as we pass, we'll have another look at the walls. What we're looking for are cracks. When foundations move, you get cracks appearing in apertures in the wall. So if this was to move here, I'd find a crack up there by the vent.
Right.
This is good, we haven't got any.
Before we go back around,
Yeah. Yeah.
I imagine who would be responsible to maintain that if that starts to crack?
Often the homeowners association, or if there's not a homeowners association, the city.
Really, even though, I mean, it's between 2 yards, because they'll build a house on this property.
That's right. That's right. This is. You could check on your deeds. You check that, but it'd be very unusual that you are responsible or own a retaining wall.
Okay. Just, I was curious about, because I see that that's not got a drip zone.
No.
So, I mean, I see it.
Yeah.
It rained yesterday, so we got some water, but
Yeah.
it was separating away from the wall. The ground was.
The ground was, yeah, it will do. This is typically what you get because it's not been watered, whereas your yard isn't. A retaining wall basically goes down to a slip mat. Slip mat runs about 12-15 feet above there, then the grade goes on it, and it stops it rotating, torquing, and that holds it in place. This is only about 3.5 foot. It's not a 4 foot wall. It's been engineered.
Right.
But normally this has less regulations attached to it than an engineered wall. But yeah, do you know, your builder should be able to tell you exactly who is responsible for it.
I just want to know.
The builders don't put them in.
Actually, the builder did put this in.
Oh, so they actually developed the site as well, did they?
Well, I know that they put it in because they took down the one on that house and then had to put, when they were building it, and put it back up.
Right. Yeah, but normally what happens when the sites are developed, the developer comes in, puts in all the roads and everything, and they put in that.
Yeah,
and it can be the same builder, but sometimes, most times it's not.
Yeah, I don't think they developed the property. I think the developer was Shattuck.
Right, that makes sense. Yes, they do a lot of that. Yeah. Yeah, it's a good question though, and you should find that out because you're going to be asked that question when you come to sell it.
Right, and well, and I don't know if I need to have a drip zone put along the wall there.
Probably not.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just continue with the foundation. Make sure there's no cracking around here. You see you've got a little bit of drying out here. That just needs to be recorked. Yeah, so look at that. I know that's your garage the other side there, isn't it? Yeah, but all of that water is going to go directly into that hole. Easily fixed. The thing about most things with buildings, most of it's easily fixed. It's just that if they don't do it, that's when the problems arise. Okay. So here, what I recommend you do here, you've got a gutter downpipe. This is your expansion joint. Now up there you've got a gutter downpipe and it's emptying directly onto the roof. It's very typical for them to do that this way. I highly recommend you put an extension on there and just run it into the gutter. Now the reason is, loads of water are going to come out there, it's going to be fired at the roof, it'll wear the roof, okay? It'll wear it.
Probably just do it with a couple of elbows coming down.
You can, yes. Yeah, that's how I would do it. Just get a couple of elbows. Okay, well, up here by the siding, the caulking is failing down the trim. Where? Oh yeah, yes. I don't mind those so much, it's the brown recluse I don't like. Another one up there by the root there. There you got a little bit of a crack here. That's pretty common because of the angle and everything. It just wants filling with mortar. It was poor, so right on the edge here they mixed it up and it wasn't homogeneous. Okay, it was a heterogeneous mix. So you have these little slightly drier patches than others, and it comes right at the edge here, and that causes it to come out that way. We'll put it in the report. First thing is there any holes? And the second thing is, are the holes there that should be there? What I can't see in this area here, we're dealing with this area here, I can't see any soffits.
Over here?
Yeah. This is the soffit, that's that board that looks down at us. That's a soffit board, and there should be soffit vents in it. And they're not. Which means it's going to be really hard to get passive cooling into this part of the attic. And we come along here, there's room for soffit vents along here. We haven't got any. Now that is we can get this from inside the house, can't we, this part of the attic?
Yeah, we can get to pretty much all of it.
All of it from inside the house, that's good news. So we've still got no soffits. All the way around. No, there's no soffits. Okay, so this side we've got soffits. Well, that's good, because if we've got soffits this side, we should have soffits the other side.
I would think.
So
that could explain why that side of the house was hotter than this side of the house too.
in a heartbeat, yeah, it would. So we have soffits that side. What's the square foot? 3,700?
Oh, we're just probably over 4,000.
4,000, thereabouts. Okay.
Somewhere in that range.
Yeah. Okay, so I don't expect to see soffits here. Now up here, the trim board so we're now at the left-hand elevation. We got soffits here, which is fine. But we have no soffits on this roof system here. We're standing in Rachel's room, and if you listen carefully to the video, you can hear the air conditioning unit. Now that is caused by the vibration of the air handler being transferred to the structure of the building. Yep.
Who's on that outside wall?
It's from here. Yeah, we've got a vibration coming through my torch from the wall. Well, this is going to be okay because it's on a porch, but I bet they've done it somewhere else. You see here, the actual frame goes right down to the brickwork, and they've corked it. Every time the cork is going to crack, and then the wood is in contact with stone, it's going to wick up water, and then it
Benjamin?
Come on, Benjamin, in you go.
Get inside.
Go on, Ben. Okay. Well, it's not showing any signs of damage, which is it's the chimney at the rear elevation, serving the family area, and the chimney cap requires painting. I'm standing at the rear right elevation of the property, and we're looking at a flue. It's within 10 foot of an aperture. It's a roof vent, and it should be 1 foot above that roof vent in height. In this situation, it is possible for flue gases to re-enter the attic. Yep. It was it. It's called Murphy's Law. to the disposal unit is kinked, and it's actually going to prevent it working efficiently. At some point it'll probably block, so that needs to have that kink taken out of it.
Really?
Yeah, always up for a fight. They were the first in the the Revolution, and they were first to start the Civil War. They're a bunch of hotheads. We went to the museum, I talked to a couple of locals there. I said, "You're a bunch of hotheads, you lot."
You know, I grew up in Washington, D.C. I'm technically a Yankee.
You've got something in common with my wife.
And when I moved to South Carolina 13 years ago, I went to lunch with a bunch of fellows from the office, Zach and me, a fellow from New York, and another guy that moved there from Texas, and 2 or 3 guys that were born and raised in the great South Carolina area. And the fellow from New York got in a big fight with the guys, with the other guys. And he yelled at the local guys, he said, "Well, you guys lost the war." And his boy from the South looked at him and he says, "You mean it's over?"
Yeah, you mean it's over.
They were definitely still fighting it.
They're still fighting it.
Yeah, it ain't over. You see people putting those circulating pumps?
Yes, a lot.
They say you just put it at like the farthest point, so either this
That's it. Yeah, and it cuts the time it takes for it to heat. On my website, my blog, I blogged on it some months ago. I'll send you a link, you can go and look at it.
So they work?
Sorry?
They do work?
They do work, yes, they do. And it doesn't save you a lot. It's more to do with convenience. For obvious reasons, you don't want to sit around for hours waiting for the water to arrive.
With all the water running through the foundation.
Well, there's another thing, and on my website you'll find about that. I point that out, you know. You're going to be using a lot of energy up just heating the foundation. We'll go up there in a second. Again.
Darn good.
Yeah, it's working.
This side's already satisfied down to 69 degrees.
Yeah, no, it's working. It's working very well. It's just that noise, and I can't believe what they said to you. I mean, oh come on, you know. I've got to live here. Would you want to live here? Actually, see if one of them sends their wife over for a weekend to live there. That'll probably sort them out. Yeah, that's it. What you're hearing there is the vibration coming through the wall from the air conditioning unit. We are hearing the compressor. The compressor's vibration travels along the cold line and is being transferred to the building. This is not acceptable because this will make this room very uncomfortable to live in. Listen again. We're standing in the media room and we're looking at the far corner, up in this corner up here. And if you look at the screen of the infrared camera, you can see we've got a hotspot, and that really just needs the insulation rearranging, a bit more put in. It's batting, it's not actually fitted in place properly. Okay, now in the far corner up here, in this area up here, the batting is missing, and we've got a very, very large thermal bypass. Let's continue around, see what else we can find. Yeah, there's a lot of heat from the same thermal bypass coming in to this corner up here. This area here where you can see my laser light is where we've got a thermal bypass. So if you look at the camera, see that? 10 square foot represents a 100 watt bulb burning constantly in terms of energy input into the home, which is no small amount. Okay, let's go down and look around my other favourite area. Hey Ben. So now we're in the family room. And there's a big thermal bypass in the cathedral ceiling here, up there. Just above the couch. Thermal bypass. Okay, so above the breakfast table, oh, we've run out of power. Let's turn that off.
Many times. No.
Okay, that's all looking good. See if we can see it this time.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see here.
Yeah, can you move the clothes to one side?
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. See?
Mm-hmm. So what's that showing?
I'll explain it now. What we're looking at here is a video of the infrared camera, because the infrared camera is not a video camera, it's a still shot. And what we can see is a very dark area. It represents it's cold. Actually, its coldest point is 62 degrees. And it's at that point that the cold line is touching the sheetrock, and that's why we're getting the ventilation. The vibration. So, Scott, have you got that blue tape of yours?
Somewhere. I can find it though.
Or do you just want to get a pen? I want to mark it, you see. Here you go. Okay, I want you to put a pencil mark there. Okay, and another one there. Okay, turn the light on. Okay, it runs down there. That's where it's touching. There you go. That is fixable. Then they can fix that in a heartbeat now. They don't even have to search for it. We found it for them.
Yeah, we knew.
It's a terrible noise, and you're expected to put up with it. I mean, what are they thinking? You should bite one of them when they come round, Ben.
Bite them. Touch the wall right there. Right to the big suit.
Okay.
I suspect they'll continue that wall to the next property.
I'm standing at the fence at the, where are we? We're at the rear elevation. Take that from me. And get me on that. And the fence posts and the way they've been put around. See, I can move this post here. Well, the reason I can do it is that we don't have sufficient concrete block on the bottom of it, just insufficient concrete. As a consequence, yes, the wind has actually started to make it move, it's very true, but the wind shouldn't have been able to move it in the first place. And so I recommend that is reposted all the way along here from a proper foundation repost. This is the fence post from the other side, and you see there's a lot of erosion here around the actual post, and as a consequence it is loose. You can see I can move it. My issue with this portion of the fence is the fact that you've clearly got a retaining wall designed to actually take the actual fence itself with the metal post holes in it. And if you had those posts in there, it would actually structurally help the retaining wall.
Really?
Well, this is my opinion. We've got a fence here, and a fence at points could transfer load onto the wall itself. And we're not looking for the wall to be strained. The reason why the engineers put the posts in is they didn't want a wooden fence run along this edge here. They wanted it inside the actual retaining wall. So here's my conjecture here. We've got a retaining wall here. We've got a post here, and you can see how close the post is to the retaining wall. So just note that. And let's come along to here. We've got the retaining wall here, and we've got the post up against it. Now, the load from the fence is going to be transferred into this wall. Now, the chances of it damaging it, I don't think it will. But the reason these metal post holes are here is to actually allow the fence to be mounted in a way that it wouldn't damage the...
Is that just erosion or critter?
That's probably a critter.